This is the Wrestling Old Head. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling.
What the world is watching.
Is Roman Reigns going to win at WrestleMania in the triple threat match? Now, it's been made official. The main event for the night one of WrestleMania 41 rather, will be Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins against CM Punk. It's a main event worthy match, and I believe as we build up and get closer to WrestleMania, it will become more apparent the stakes involved in this type of a match to headline WrestleMania Night 1. Remember, last year, what headlined WrestleMania Night 1 was Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns and The Rock. This year, it's just as big of a blockbuster main event as the Night 1 of last year. And one of the things to look out for in this is I've noticed a lot of people are upset and they're talking about the fact that Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and potentially Bianca Belair, if they do get that triple threat match, that should have been the main event, or even Jey Uso against Gunther. Now, we got 2 world title matches on one night of WrestleMania last year, and I don't know if people have forgotten that, but it happened. Now, it wasn't the Royal Rumble winner in the undercard last year, but same rules apply. You got Damian Priest cashing in after Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship, and that same championship is being defended in this night on the undercard with Jey Uso and Gunther. I mean, it's the way this title is. It's going to be great because I believe it's going to be a feel-good moment at WrestleMania Night 2 to have Jey Uso pin Gunther. You're going to get the celebration. You're going to get one of the biggest celebrations for Jey Uso's win that you can imagine. And it'll build up a celebration so that when John Cena wins and beats Cody Rhodes, it won't be so much of a letdown. I think that the downer of Cena winning, even though I know some people in the crowd are going to be excited, it will balance it out to have Jey Uso win on that night. And night 1 having something as huge as CM Punk's first ever WrestleMania main event in a triple threat match against 2 guys that he's got a lot of history with, dating back to his last tenure in the WWE. So it makes a lot of sense. One thing that we did not get is that we didn't get CM Punk's favor. And it's interesting, I find the dynamic between Punk and Reigns very interesting because Roman probably in his mind was like, I'm going to go above and beyond and get this dude his match as the night 1 main event, thinking that could be the favor so nothing can be held over his head or over the wise man's head. Only for Punk to go, nah, that wasn't it, and that's not what I want. And in my opinion, I think that what we're seeing right now is a fairly obvious favor cash-in of CM Punk wanting the wise man to accompany him to the ring for the main event, his first main event at WrestleMania, and for old time's sake. And that way you don't compromise the alignment of CM Punk. He's not going to do a move that is going to warrant boos from the crowd. He's going to do a move that sincerely is not something that could be looked at, although you can look at it. It's not going to be something that you would look at and go, oh, he's doing that to get at Roman Reigns. No, he actually wants Paul Heyman to be a part of this moment. And I think that's one of the only things that you can look at and go, that would make sense and that would work within the story that they're presenting you. So that's where I feel like it's going, and it would make for an interesting moment. Now, is Roman Reigns going to win is the question, right? Now, remember, last year, at the conclusion of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was able to finish his story. Now, with Roman Reigns going into this match, there is a different story, but that story is technically already set in stone. That story has been completed, which is the story that CM Punk wanted to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Now, it's not the quote-unquote real main event of WrestleMania. The real main event of WrestleMania is Cody Rhodes against John Cena at the conclusion of night 2. That is the real main event of WrestleMania, as is all WrestleManias before they became 2 nights. It is the final match on the card. And if you really want to get into semantics here, the combination of night 1 and night 2 without any of the separation here on a Saturday and a Sunday is the final match of WrestleMania will be Cody Rhodes against John Cena. So that is the main event. This is the main event of night 1. So CM Punk still has that in his pocket that he can cash in later on, be it next year, 2 years from now. He's getting a lot older, so he won't have too many more opportunities, but who knows, maybe next year for WrestleMania, he'll be going in and challenging the undisputed WWE champion, or he'll be looking to see who challenges him for the undisputed championship. So until we get that point, this is a fair moment for CM Punk to have. He is a headliner at WrestleMania. You cannot take that away from him, and it is a huge moment. So the story is technically already finished in that regard. Punk is not going for a championship here. He's not going to be world champion. The only thing that he wanted was to be in the main event at WrestleMania, and he's getting that. So does that warrant him winning night 1's main event triple threat match? And in my opinion, it doesn't. Now look, I am a CM Punk fan. I always have been, but I am an impartial Marshall at the same time as well. And just looking at the way that this card is being set up here, it is being set up for us to believe that Paul Heyman is going to help CM Punk win the match, and it's going to cause more dissension between he and Roman Reigns. And I don't know if I see that. I believe there's going to be a moment where you're going to wonder, was Paul Heyman trying to help CM Punk, or was he trying to help Roman Reigns? And that move is going to lead to people questioning which side Paul Heyman is truly on. That will lead to more CM Punk Roman Reigns stuff going into potential match at SummerSlam, which I believe would be a huge match for SummerSlam, and potentially the night 2 main event for SummerSlam, because you got to remember, SummerSlam this year is going to be 2 nights. So if anybody has been confused about the build-up between WrestleMania 41 not really measuring up to what it was last year, that might be the reason, because they want to stack up this SummerSlam more than they have ever stacked up a SummerSlam, because it's the first ever 2-night SummerSlam spectacular. So to headline SummerSlam night 2 or even night 1, Roman Reigns against CM Punk, you can't get much bigger than that. And to have them wrestling over the loyalty of Paul Heyman, if you will, like Roman saying, you got to choose. Punk saying, hey, you got to choose. We're not going to be on the same page between Punk and Reigns. We're never going to be on the same page. We're not going to be a tag team. We're not going to be under the same stable. You got to choose who you're going to side with going forward. I think that's a huge stipulation for a matchup down the line, and I think the catalyst of that, what can kick that off, is that, obviously Seth Rollins is the one to lose in this type of a matchup, because there's not a whole lot of people riding on the fact that Seth Rollins is going to win this match at the end of night 1. But what you would like to look at is potentially, is Paul Heyman going to help CM Punk or Roman Reigns? And I think keeping that a mystery, maybe maybe Paul Heyman throws a chair in the ring, and he looks like he's throwing it to Punk, but Roman Reigns gets it, clocks Punk, clocks Rollins, and then pins Rollins or something like that. Leaving it in the air of like, who was he throwing that chair in the ring to, is something that we can potentially look forward to as I'm theorizing here, fantasy cooking, if you will, the potential of how this match is going to end. But I do see Roman Reigns winning this because he lost last year, because Cody Rhodes pinned him and finished his story. I think it's okay to give Roman Reigns the win at this night 1 WrestleMania main event. And also because CM Punk is getting a company, he's getting the treatment, he's potentially getting Paul Heyman walking to the ring with CM Punk because it's a favor. That will cause a lot of dissension. And if you look back at the way that Roman Reigns was during the SmackDown contract signing, Roman Reigns looked like he was having a lot of fun. Seth Rollins was having a panic attack. He was a little baby and throwing a tantrum. Seth Rollins was doing that. CM Punk was in tears. He was clearly very emotional at this moment. And Roman Reigns looked like he was just having a good time. He was riffing. He was joking around. He was having a ball out there. I think when CM Punk asked Paul Heyman to accompany him to the ring at WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman actually does, I think that's when you're going to see a different, more serious side of Roman Reigns. And I think that's going to lead to him winning. And I think that's where we're building, in my opinion. I think we're building to that moment. And then after that is over, Punk is going to question the loyalty of Paul Heyman, his intentions at WrestleMania. And that's where it's going to lead Paul Heyman at a loss, because he's going to be pulled in two different directions. And then to footnote that by saying that at SummerSlam, whoever wins retains Paul Heyman, I think is another big moment as well. So going in, everybody figures, oh, Punk is going to win that, but you don't know going in. I think there's a lot of drama between that, and I think there can be some really interesting stuff here. I mean, it's very similar to, with Miss Elizabeth was in between the mega powers in Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, and Randy Savage was very, very jealous of the way that Miss Elizabeth and Hulk Hogan's relationship was. I take away the romantic element of that story, and at the core of that story, it was about loyalty, and it was about who to side with. And I think you saw a more sinister, unhinged version of Randy Savage in that moment when he wasn't sure where Elizabeth's ties lied. And so you got the insecurity of Randy Savage leading into messing up a potential a legendary tag team that could have ran the WWF for years to come, because Randy Savage couldn't put that idea that there might have been something going on between Hogan and Elizabeth aside. So I think there's something to really toy around with there. I think that CM Punk is going to get the pageantry. He's going to get it all. I think he's going to get Living Color performing his theme. I think he's going to get Paul Heyman to walk down to the ring with him. I think you're going to get a moment where AJ Lee might be there as well. I think you're going to get it all. Bret Hart is there as well. Bret Hart and CM Punk's relationship is huge for CM Punk. All CM Punk fans know how well respected Bret Hart is in the eyes of CM Punk. So I think you're going to get all of that for his entrance, for him coming to the ring, those moments. It's going to be an emotional night for CM Punk. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win, though, because this isn't a world championship main event for CM Punk. This is a triple threat main event with CM Punk, and he's gotten wins in all these other matches. It's going to be okay if he takes that loss, and that is going to give him the ammunition for what is to come for CM Punk later on throughout this year. So that's my opinion. That's how I saw it when I was looking at the contract signing. I had all these ideas floating in my head, so I thought I'd get them down and present them to you guys here on the Portal of Pro Wrestling channel. So I just wanted to see what you guys thought of that idea. Where do you guys see this triple threat match going now that we know officially that it is the main event of the night one of WrestleMania 41? You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Thumbs up on the way out, you guys. And as always, this is the Wrestling Old Head saying, stay tuned for more.